I'm live. Okay, I found another book that I think is good for Lent, and it's by Max Lucado, and it's called Everyone Needs a Miracle. He Still Moves Stones. And I know, Muggsy, you want me to read a book by Dr. Seuss, but the only one I have is The Grinch Stole Christmas, and it's spring, so I need more Dr. Seuss books. I think they ran out of the house with the grandchildren. Hey, guess what? I got another subscriber today. I hope they like book reading. Anyhow, let's get going. He still moves stones. Here we go. A 5-time divorcee, a despondent cripple, a sister at a funeral. How I ever can relate to that. By the way, everybody, if you don't know, my brother-in-law, Jim Shinuski, died. Great man, great faith, great musician, great pilot, big hole in our hearts. A father in an emergency. There are not just Sunday school stories, not romantic fables, not somewhere over the rainbow illusions. They are historic moments in which a real God met real pain so we could answer the question, where is God when I hurt? Author Max Lucado invites us to relive these stories with him, to be reminded that the God who spoke still speaks, to know that the God who forgave still forgives. The God who came still comes. He comes into your world. He comes to do what you can't. He comes to move the stones you can't budge. He still moves stones, even if that stone is me, I guess. First, we have an acknowledgement here. Writing a book and traversing a desert have much in common. Long stretches of dry, flat land marked with occasional pools of inspiration. Here's a salute to dear friends who made this journey so pleasant. Thanks for not complaining at the sand and celebrating at each oasis. For my assistant, Karen Hill, you do more than organize my office and edit my writing. You preserve my sanity. This is a good thing. We should maybe keep Karen next. For my editor, Liz Haney, like a good surgeon, your judgment is keen and your scalpel sharp. Sometimes all need a keen scalpel that's sharp, kind of an editing person. For the family at Word Publishing, to each of you editors, artists, secretaries, receptionists, salespeople, and decision makers, you're the best. For Roy and Barbie Johnston, thanks for loaning me your Horseshoe Bay Hideaway. Oh, that sounds great. For Upward's Executive Director Steve Green, no one else could do what you do the way you do it. We are in your debt. For my wife, Denelyn, what else can I say? You are starlight and I am Galileo. Your sparkle still stuns. Isn't that sweet? And for you, the reader, I reserve my final salute. For some of you, this book marks our 10th encounter. Happy anniversary! For others, it's our first. Glad to meet you. And for most, this is somewhere in between. Good to be with you again. You are about to entrust me with your most valuable asset, your time. I pledge to be a good steward. Though writing a book can be like a desert journey, reading a book shouldn't be. It should be a pause at the oasis. I hope it is. Drink deeply. Max Lucado. I like Max. I like how he writes. I'm sure Muggsy agrees because I know you are a Max Lucado fan. And hopefully you like this. 1. Bruised Reeds and Smoldering Wicks. Now, I have read this book before, but I needed a He Still Moves Stones this Lent, this spring. And Max starts with a scripture, Matthew 12, verse 20, New International Version. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. Imagine it's a Saturday afternoon in October. What you needed to get done today, you've already done. Your afternoon lies before you with no obligations. Free afternoons don't come as often as they once did, so you consider your options for the day. You pick up a paper to get some ideas. A movie? Nothing good is showing. Television? You can do that at any time, and I usually choose not to. Wait, what's this? An ad catches your eye. Special art exhibit. Bruised reeds and smoldering wicks. 2 to 4, Saturday afternoon at the Lincoln Library. It's been a while since you've seen some good art. Bruised reeds and smoldering wicks? Probably some nature stuff. Besides, the walk would be nice. You'll do it. You lay down the paper, put on a coat, and grab some gloves. You're greeted by the musty odor of books as you walk through the library doors. Behind the counter sits a librarian with her hair in a bun and a pencil behind her ear. A student with a backpack at his feet stares into a drawer of cataloged cards. I don't think they do that way anymore, Max. A table featuring old Life magazines strikes you as interesting. You start to pick up the one with Truman on the cover when you see a sign that reminds you why you came. Bruised reeds and smoldering wicks, it reads, and points you toward a door. You walk across a hallway and open one of 2 heavy wooden doors and step in. Isn't that just like a library? For us easily distracted, challenged adults. We can go in there with one purpose and get distracted right away. That library, it's a plethora of things. It's an intimate room, no larger than a nice den. Bookshelves cover the walls and books line the shelves. A fire crackles in a fireplace, and a couple of high wingback chairs invite you to spend the afternoon with a good book. Maybe later, you think. First the art, another distraction. I'm going to admit, those rocking chairs in that fireplace and dessert library, it always looks so nice. I don't think I've ever seen a fire in the fireplace, but I would welcome it. Placed around the room are the paintings, all framed, all in vivid color, all set on easels in pairs and always back to back. You put your gloves in your coat pocket, hang your coat on a hook, and move toward the first painting. We got a lot of really good artists in our area. And wouldn't it be nice if once a month we just celebrated our own artists in Mosinee? Just a thought. We got Julie Dahl, and I think in watercolor paintings, doesn't the vet's wife, isn't it Marjorie? Margie or Marjorie? I think she does water paintings. It's a portrait of a leper, the center figure on the canvas. He stoops like a hunchback. His fingerless hand draped in rags extends toward you, pleading. A tattered wrap hides all of his face except 2 pain-filled eyes. The crowd around the leper is chaotic. The father is grabbing a curious child. A woman trips over her own feet as she scrambles to get away, and a man glares over his shoulder as he runs. The painting is entitled with the leper's plea. If you will, you can. The next painting portrays the same leper, but the scene has changed dramatically. The title has only 2 words, I will. In this sketch, the leper is standing erect and tall. He is looking at his own outstretched hand. It has fingers. The veil is gone from his face and he is smiling. There is no crowd. Only one other person is standing beside the leper. You can't see his face, but you can see his hand on the shoulder of the healed man. There is no nature exhibit, you whisper to yourself as you turn to the next painting. This is no nature exhibit. In this one, the artist's brush has captured a woman in midair, jumping from one side of a canyon to another. Her clothes are ragged, her body is frail, and her skin is pale. She looks anemic. Her eyes are desperate as she reaches for the canyon wall with both hands. On the ledge is a man. All you see are his legs, sandals, and the hem of a robe. Beneath the painting are the woman's words, if only. Oh, I know who this woman is. If I but touch just the hem of his garment, I shall be healed. And I have advanced that. I like to think, because Jesus is gone from our presence now, if the shadow of your cloak would but pass over me, I shall be healed. You step quickly to see the next scene. She is standing now. The ground beneath her bare feet is solid. Her face flushes with life. Her cautious eyes look up at the half moon of people that surround her. Standing beside her is the one she sought to touch, the caption, his words, "Take heart." The next portrait is surrealistic. A man's contorted face dominates the canvas. Orange hair twists against a purple background. And no, it's not the president. Okay, I just want to put that out there. The face stretches downward and swells at the bottom like a pear. The eyes are perpendicular slits in which 1,000 tiny pupils bounce. The mouth is frozen open in a scream. You notice something odd. It's inhabited. Hundreds of spiderish creatures claw over each other. Their desperate voices are captured by the caption, "Swear to God you won't torture me." Huh? Fascinated, you step to the next painting. It is the same man, but now his features are composed. His eyes, no longer wild, are round and soft. The mouth is closed, and the caption explains the sudden peace. Released. The man is leaning forward as if listening intently. His hand strokes his chin, and dangling from his wrist is a shackle and a chain, a broken chain. In another portrait, a scantily clothed female cowers before an angry mob of men who threaten her with stones. In the next painting, the stones lie harmlessly on the ground, littering the courtyard, occupied by a surprised woman and a smiling man who stands over some pictures drawn in the dirt. Have you seen how they still stone women to this day in that barbaric Muslim religion? And I'm sorry. I might get punished by YouTube for saying that. But they buried them halfway up their waist. They put them in a hole and buried them so they can't move. And then they whipped those stones. And let me tell you, they whipped them hard. It's barbaric. In one painting, a paralytic on a pallet urges his friends not to give up as they stare at a house overflowing with people. In the next, the pallet is on the boy's shoulder as he skips out the door of the house. In one picture, a blind man screams to a rabbi. In the next, he bows before the one to whom he screamed. Throughout the gallery, this sequence repeats itself, always two paintings, one of a person in trauma and one of a person at peace, before and after, testimonials to a life-changing encounter, scene after scene of serenity eclipsing sorrow, purpose defeating pain, hope outshining hurt. But alone in the center of the hall is a single painting. It is different from their others. There are no faces, no people. The artist has dipped his brush into ancient prophecy and sketched two simple objects, a reed and a wick. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. Is there anything more frail than a bruised reed? Look at the bruised reed at the water's edge, a once slender and tall stalk of sturdy rivergrass, but it is now bowed and bent. Are you a bruised reed? Was it so long ago that you stood so tall, so proud, you were upright and sturdy, nourished by the waters and rooted in the riverbed of confidence? Then something happened. You were bruised by harsh words, by a friend's anger, by a spouse's betrayal, by your own failure, by religion's rigidity, by someone's inappropriate laughter. And you were wounded, bent ever so slightly, your hollow reed, once erect, now stooped and hidden in the bulrush, in the smoldering wick on the candle. Is there anything closer to death than a smoldering wick? Once a flame, now flickering and failing. Still warm from yesterday's passion, but no fire. Not yet cold, but far from hot. Was it that long ago that you blazed with faith? Remember how you illuminated the path? Then came the wind, the cold wind, the harsh wind. They said your ideas were foolish. They told you your dreams were too lofty. They scolded you for challenging the time tested. The constant wind wore down upon you. Oh, you stood strong for a moment or maybe a lifetime, but the endless blast whipped your flickering flame, leaving you one pinch away from complete darkness. The bruised reed and the smoldering wick. So society knows what to do with you. The world has a place for the beaten. The world will break you off. The world will snuff you out. But the artists of Scripture proclaim that God won't. Painted on canvas after canvas is the tender touch of Creator, who has a special place for the bruised and weary of the world. A God who is the friend of the wounded heart. A God who is the keeper of your dreams. That's the theme of the New Testament, and that's the theme of the gallery. Let's stroll through the gallery together. Let's ponder the moments when Christ met people at their points of pain. We'll see the prophecy prove true. We'll see bruised reeds straightened and smoldering wicks ignited. It's quite a collection of paintings. By the way, your portrait is in the gallery too. Go ahead, look at it. It's there to the side. Just like the others, there are 2 easels, but unlike the others, these canvases are white. Your name is at the bottom. Beside the easel is a table with a paint and a brush. Okay, that's story 1. We'll continue. These are actually chapters with the bruised reed tomorrow, which, well, I can read this part because it's actually the end of this chapter. The bruised reed is a poem. It stood with assurance, head held high on strong stalk, but that was before the careless bump, the harsh rain. Now it's bruised, bent, weakened. It seeks gentle fingers to straighten and not break. It needs a firm touch to heal and not to hurt. Tender power, soft strength. Is there such a hand? Okay, so now, tomorrow, chapter 2, not guilty, overcoming shame. I'm so happy to be back. I have to get myself stickers. Stickers will work as my bookmark. And we'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Love ya. Bye-bye. Ending the stream. Ending the stream.